Now at 11, trying to clear the runways. Thousands of flights impacted this weekend by the monster snowstorm that hit us and then moved east. And there are cautions tonight about ice safety as more fishermen end up in the water this weekend. But first tonight, the cold for many of us. Wind chills will dip into the dangerous category. WSBT 22 News at 11 starts right now.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 11.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Diane Daniels. Here's a live look at conditions in South Bend. It just looks cold out there. And tonight, much of the viewing area under a wind chill advisory. Meteorologist Ed Russo is in the Weather Center, and Ed, temperatures are quickly dropping.
They are, and we're in the single digits right now in South Bend. We'll show you our current temperature map right now. Sitting at 5 at the airport and some spots to the east, even colder than that. 0 in LaGrange, 1 in Sturgis. Notice how it's 12 in Knox, 13 in Valparaiso. Those are still what's left over from lake effect snow, which continues to fall apart, but it's impacting Gary and Chicago, several inches falling in Lake and Porter County, but plenty of cold for sure. 0 out towards Cedar Rapids, 3 below in Davenport. Most spots tonight dipping below 0 actual air temperature. Right now, winds out of the north-northeast, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour, but you don't need much wind for it to feel a lot colder when temperatures are this brutally cold. Feels like 12 below in LaGrange, feels like 10 below in Syracuse, feels like 6 below in Benton Harbor, but temperatures are going to continue to drop and the wind chill is going to continue to fall. Wind chill advisory for the central and eastern part of the viewing area, getting as low as 15 to 25 below 0 for Monday morning. We've got your full forecast coming up in minutes. It's action-packed.
Alrighty, thank you, Ed. The cold snap has seen ice fishermen heading for inland lakes and ponds in the area, but that has turned into a dangerous proposition for several of them. This afternoon, 2 fishermen fell through the ice on Crooked Lake, which is on the Noble-Whitley County line off of State Road 109. The men were able to make it out on their own, but according to the DNR, both had to be treated for hypothermia. The DNR warns that even though conditions have turned cold, lakes and ponds have not had time yet to adequately freeze. 4 inches of ice is needed to support a person's weight. And yesterday, an ice fisherman drowned in DeKalb County. This man, 45-year-old Robert Penland, was pulled from Terry Lake. The DNR says ice fishermen should always wear a life jacket. And tonight, the city of South Bend continues to work with the Red Cross to keep the Martin Luther King Jr. Rec Center open as an emergency warming center. It will remain open until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So far, 1 person has used it. The warming center is intended as a safe place for people if they lose heat in their homes. But individuals and families who are experiencing homelessness are encouraged to use overnight winter amnesty available at area shelters. One community embracing the cold blast is Niles. Today, that city wrapping up the annual Hunter Ice Festival. WSBT 22's Max Lewis was in Niles, and Max is live in the studio now with more on how the cold's great for those sculptures, but how about attendance, Max? Well, in Michigan, weather was one of the factors in a deadly crash in Berrien County late last night. It happened on Browntown Road east of South Hildebrand in Chickamauga Township. The 44-year-old man who was driving the vehicle was dead at the scene. And we do encourage you to stay with WSBT 22 both on air and online for continuing coverage of the dangerous cold. And if you don't already have it, this would be a great time to download the WSBT 22 weather app. It's available for both Apple and Android. All new tonight, the feds announcing a reward in the recent burglary of a Niles gun shop. A reward of up to $5,000 being offered to help solve the break-in at the Firing Pin gun shop in Niles last week. We've got some surveillance video that was just released today of that crime by the ATF. You're looking at it here. More than 10 guns were stolen. The ATF says that the same suspects involved in this crime may be responsible for other robberies in the area. Anyone with information can call police or the ATF. We've got their numbers for you on our website at WSBT.com. All new at 11 tonight, the president of Notre Dame announcing that murals depicting Christopher Columbus in the university's main building will be covered. Those murals have been the target of criticism in recent years. These images coming to us courtesy of photographer Robert Franklin with our news gathering partners at the South Bend Tribune. The murals were painted in the 1880s prior to widespread awareness of the consequences of Columbus's voyage on indigenous peoples. The murals will be covered with a woven material since they're actually painted directly onto the plaster of the walls. High-resolution images of the murals will then be displayed elsewhere on campus in a less busy place, along with more information that provides context in history about the paintings. About 100 people gathered today at the Islamic Society of Michiana. They were there to discuss the recent push to get hate crime legislation through in Indiana. The Hoosier State, one of only 5 states in the nation without a hate crime law on the books. And according to FBI statistics, hate crimes have risen sharply in the past couple of years, and that's why supporters say the legislation is needed now more than ever.
So I think that, having something like this gives me the confidence to know that I have my community and my state behind me.
And the group is hoping the bill will give hate crimes an enhanced penalty or extended sentencing. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb came out in support of hate crime legislation earlier and said it's long overdue. A warehouse in South Bend is now helping Girl Scouts deliver their cookies faster. Thousands of cookies are stored at a distribution center, and troop leaders can go to that warehouse and pick up the boxes once they've ordered them. And they say the center makes the process much more organized. Now people don't have to wait for months for their cookies to be delivered. And those cookies remain on sale until March 3rd. If you don't know a Girl Scout and would like to order some, you can email the group. They'll match you up with somebody you can buy from. We've posted a link on our website at WSBT.com. Stay with us. Still ahead for you tonight at 11, just in time for the federal holiday, a reopening of an iconic site during the partial federal government shutdown. Tonight marks the 30th day of the partial government shutdown. President Trump now lashing out at Democrats for rejecting a plan that he calls a compromise. The president offered protection for thousands of young DACA recipients and extended protection for those facing deportation, but in return, he wants that $5.7 billion for border wall funding. And while Republicans praise the plan, Democrats say it doesn't go far enough because it didn't offer permanent protection, and they say the wall is unnecessary. Senate leaders say they plan to bring up legislation incorporating the president's proposal this week to try and immediately reopen the government, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi predicts that Trump's proposal will meet with defeat in the House. And the Martin Luther King National Park is temporarily reopening despite the government shutdown. The park in Atlanta will be up and running for at least 16 days. That's thanks in part to a grant from Delta Airlines. The venue includes Dr. King's birth home and the Ebenezer Baptist Church, among other historic sites. Visitors will have the chance to visit the site on Martin Luther King Jr. Day tomorrow. And there are events happening all across the nation, all across Michiana Monday to honor Dr. King. In our area, there are a number of marches, celebrations, and other activities to mark MLK's life and legacy. You can find a full list of those events on our website at WSBT.com. As we go to break, we've got a live look at the super blood wolf moon. Quite a sight there. Meteorologist Ed Russo is in next with more on the lunar eclipse and your forecast. Okay.
You gotta get out there and check out the blood.
Do you want to try again?
I did it once for the howl of it.
Nice. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Next news starts for you at 5 a.m. Stay up to date anytime with the WSBT 22 app.